UX design and product design. The two terms are used interchangeably, so what is the difference and why does it matter? It's important to know the difference when you are searching for a job, trying to get promoted, trying to better define your career goals, or just trying to focus in more on your expertise when you're working with other colleagues and collaborators. Before I tell you what the main difference is between a product designer and a UX designer, let's go through and explain what each role does. But what are some things that a UX designer would do? So, UX designer focuses on solving usability issues to help make digital products more usable and more enjoyable. They turn concepts into prototypes and they design UI elements and components. So, those are kind of just high level what I'd say a UX designer does. So if you're looking to apply for a UX design job, you might see certain things on the job description like conducting early user research and competitive research, creating user personas, empathy maps, and journey maps, designing and optimizing current user flows and navigation, as well as some usability testing with customers, designing wireframes and mockups, creating prototypes, whether it's low fidelity, high fidelity. And you also might see something about managing a design system. So that is what I would expect to see in a UX job description. I define myself as a UX designer. So those are the things in my job that I actually do. So I can attest to that. Let's talk about money, pay, the juicy part. So I am looking at Glassdoor, and on their stat as of February 10th, 2024, I just put in how much does a user experience designer make, 0 to 1 years of experience, all industries. The range is anywhere from 87K to 162K, with the average being 116K a year. And that includes base pay, additional pay. This is just kind of their aggregate. I define myself as a user experience designer, UX. I learned to become a UX designer through a boot camp, and I want to shout out Springboard, who's the sponsor of this part of the video today. I did my bootcamp through Springboard, their UX UI design bootcamp. The thing that I just outlined about the roles, the responsibilities, the pay, if any of that interests you, then I think a bootcamp might be the route that you want to go through. Everything that I just talked about were the reasons that got me interested and enticed in UX design. I did the bootcamp, and now here I am, practicing designer. So do their bootcamps on a monthly cycle. Their next cohort starts May 6th, but the deadline to be in that cohort is May 1st. So at the time that I'm recording this, let me see, you have about 15 days. So 2 weeks to get your items together to be in that cohort. And you also might be eligible for their job guarantee program. The requirements are a little bit different. I'll put the link down there below if you want to take a look at that. But sum it up, if you put in the work, you go through the boot camp, you apply for all the jobs that you need to, and after a 6-month period, you do not find a job, you get your full tuition back. So there's really a lot of skin in the game for you and them. So if any of this that I talked to you about interests you, use the code STEPHANIEM for $1,000 off any of the courses. UX UI course I recommend to you guys. If you're interested in anything that I've talked about, use the bootcamp to get you jump started. Okay, so let's talk product designer. I will go through the same format, just some kind of bullet points of overall what a product designer does. As I go through it, you'll probably see some similarities. So typically a product designer is somebody who leads a team or at least is a part of the team that creates a new product or makes the existing product better. I would say that they overall work with existing digital products. They'd probably also be working closely with sales and marketing to find unique business opportunities that they can expound on. They play a significant role in ensuring that a digital product stays relevant and competitive. I would also say they're probably tasked with being more aware of business priorities as well. When looking at a product designer job description, you might find certain things like needing to collaborate with cross-functional teams and being able to translate those insights into design solutions. They will also be creating wireframes, prototypes, low fidelity mockups, high fidelity mockups as well, and communicate those ideas to stakeholders. They'll probably also be designing and maintaining design systems, style guides, and documentation as well, mainly to ensure that it's consistent and it's able to scale across multiple platforms. And they're probably having to stay on top of current industry trends just to make sure that they are on par with where customers expect things to be. Let's go over the pay as well, checking out Glassdoor, same criteria that I had for the UX designer. So, which I find really interesting, The pay range for product designer is $74K to $128K, and the average salary is $97K. And that's just for that like 0 to 1 years of experience range, which I found really interesting that it's a little bit less than a UX designer. But before I give my thoughts, let's just continue on. After talking about UX design versus product design, I think we can all come to the same conclusion that the biggest difference is their focus. So UX design has a certain focus, product design has a certain focus. UX designers, I'd say the main focuses, because there's a few, would be user needs, understanding their pain points, what's working for them, what's not working for them. They're a little bit more user-centric and being able to translate those insights into designs to help improve that customer experience. Product designers come at it at a more holistic approach, I would say. They obviously are focused on what the user's needs are, but they're also having to balance like what the business wants and those business outcomes. They're thinking about the user, but they're also thinking about brand identity. They're thinking about product market fit. They're thinking about it from end to end. That is what separates the two. And kind of as I talk through it, you guys see there's a lot of similarities in between the two roles, especially when you kind of break it down to the job descriptions. There's just, like I said, the focus is a little bit different. What I find interesting is I would think the two roles would get paid relatively the same, but I think there's probably a couple reasons for why. I think a higher demand, I feel like you'll probably see the title UX design more often than you'll see product design. I think people aren't really noticing the differences, especially depending on the size of the company. I also think UX design kind of can create specializations. Like you could be just UI, you could be a UX researcher specifically, you could be interaction design. Like there's a little bit more specialties under UX. And then also I think perceived impact. I think UX is becoming a job description that people are becoming more and more familiar with and what that can do for your company and your business, versus product design might still feel a little bit too big and be kind of synonymous with like product management or anything along those lines. So that is just my opinion of why I think UX pays more. So I'm glad I'm in the UX bucket. I am happy over here. I can report the Glassdoor salaries are pretty close to kind of where I'm at as well. If any of this UX talk interests you, don't forget to check out Springboard. The link is down below to get $1,000 off any of the courses. I recommend UX UI. And speaking of UX UI, if you want to know the differences between those two roles, check out this video here where I go over the differences between a UX designer and a UI designer.